gosh, look how muddy these shoes are. Mud up the back of my legs. Holy cow. Well, certainly was a good run. Shaping up to be a very pretty morning, and today I am bringing you my full review in the Topo Athletic Mountain Racer 3. I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler alert. I have really enjoyed this shoe, but is it truly a mountain racer? Is it the right shoe for you? Let's find out in today's review. Hey, if you're new here, thanks for watching this video. If you're already a subscriber, thank you very much. Consider joining the channel membership. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and of course, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Topo Mountain Racer 3 shoe. Is it perhaps the shoe you're eyeing or planning to get? Do you already have it? And how has it been for you? All right, I'm gonna continue on this very pretty morning. A little foggy, a little gloomy, but it is gorgeous out here. I'm gonna go enjoy these trails. On today's video, we're gonna talk about the build, the comfort, the performance, and the value of the Topo Mountain Racer 3. But first, voiceover Chad, why don't you tell us about some of the specs and features of the shoe? Technical trails have met their match with the Topo Athletic Mountain Racer 3. This new update features even more cushioning and protection underfoot, and improved toe sweep for a fast transition and smooth ride. The midsole gets an upgrade with our new zip foam formula for the perfect balance between soft cushioning and snappy response, while the Vibram Mega Grip outsole delivers serious traction and grip when the trails get gritty. As for some of those specs and features, you get an anatomical and roomy toe box, Ortholite performance insole, engineered mesh upper, gator compatible, lace loops that hold the tongue in place, and I should add that the tongue is gusseted, zip foam EVA midsole, Vibram Mega Grip outsole with 6mm lugs, a 33mm stack in the heel, 28mm stack in the toe for a 5mm drop, weighing in at 286 grams or 10.1 ounces in a men's size 9, and a US MSRP of $150. I also want to thank Topo Athletic for sending this shoe for the purpose of review, but know that all thoughts and opinions are strictly my own. Hey, by the way, all the B-roll footage that you're seeing in today's video was recorded after this run. As of this recording, I have ran over 50 miles in the shoe, so you're seeing the shoe in its current real state. Okay, let's talk about the build. Sometimes I feel like companies try to overcomplicate their shoes, especially when it comes to the build, but that's certainly not the case with the Mountain Racer 3. I feel like Topo did a really good job at just keeping it simple, keeping it basic, but when it all came together, the whole was greater than the sum of its parts. And that's a really good thing and a really nice change. By focusing on the elements that make a shoe great, Topo has really created a successful and quality shoe here. So from a quality perspective, that Vibram Mega Grip outsole is a top choice. Well done. I am seeing some signs of wear, but it makes sense considering some of the really rocky technical sections here. So I'm not concerned about the longevity, particularly because it's Vibram branded. That zip foam midsole feels just as good as it did on day one. So even though it's not a super critical foam, I still think it should last a pretty long time. The engineered mesh upper, like I was saying, is not overly complicated. It's actually quite a simple overlay. You do get a couple features, which are nice. There's a little bit of extra fabric on the medial side here inside the shoe, which is quite nice. And then on the tongue, you have, I can't really see it here, but there's these little lace loops that the laces go through on both sides, and that helps hold the tongue in place, keeps it from drifting back and forth too far. The tongue is nicely padded, although I do wish it was just a little more densely padded. It doesn't need more padding, it just needs to be just a little denser. I think that would make it just a little bit more comfortable. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself talking about the comfort. Back to quality. The upper mesh also seems to be pretty durable, so again, just no concerns. Topo looked at the basics for what's needed in a successful trail shoe and brought those elements, and only those elements, into the MTN Racer 3. And then when it all came together, the shoe itself became greater than the sum of its parts. So I'm gonna give quality an 8 out of 10. It's not a perfect score because I don't think it's a perfect shoe, but it's a really good shoe. Okay, on to the comfort. So there's really two elements when it comes to comfort. One, how does it feel underfoot? And that zip foam midsole is really, really comfortable. I like it a lot. It's squishy, it's bouncy, it returns energy, it just feels really nice underfoot, no matter what terrain you're running on. The second component is the upper, and this shoe is really comfortable around my foot and across the top of my foot. There is plenty of room in the toe box for your toes to splay out. If you're familiar with Ultra shoes, the toe box in the Topo Athletic MTN Racer 3 has more room in the toe box compared to Ultra's standard fit shoes. Additionally, around the midfoot and the heel, my foot feels nice and locked in and secure. And from a comfort perspective, I have not experienced any hot spots, rubbing, blisters, none of that whatsoever. In other shoes, sometimes my foot goes a little numb, and I haven't had that experience at all in this shoe. There is some nice padding around the ankle and the heel, not a ton, but enough. And like I was saying, the tongue is also nicely padded, and the laces lay flat across the top of my foot, keeping things again locked down but comfortable. And then the last thing I'll mention is on the toe box, or around the front of the toe, you have some overlays here and a fairly rigid toe, keeping things comfortable when you accidentally hit a rock or a root or whatever. So overall comfort, even though I mentioned that I wish the tongue was just a little bit more densely padded, I think it's really nice, great underfoot feel. It's soft when you need it, responsive when you need it. It's just really good. I'm getting ahead of myself again, talking about performance a little bit. But as for the comfort, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. So now you're probably wondering, what about the performance, Chad? Well, let me tell you, and a little bit of a spoiler alert, not gonna beat around the bush. This has been one of my recent favorite trail shoes to run in. It's been one that I've looked forward to running in. It's a lot of fun. It inspires me to go run. It motivates me to go run. And that says a lot about this shoe. Starting with the outsole, that Vibram Mega Grip outsole rubber is amazing. Even in slightly wet, damp, and muddy conditions, kind of like today, the outsole does just amazing. It's really confidence inspiring, and I just don't have to worry or think about grip. It's just there, always. It's amazing. And of course, those deep lugs do great when the trail conditions get a little precarious and sketchy. It's actually quite an interesting sensation. You can like feel the grip in this shoe. And then moving on to that zip foam midsole. Yeah, it's not a super critical foam, just more of your standard EVA foam, but it feels really nice. The 33 millimeters in the heel, 28 millimeters in the forefoot do. Oh man, I'm working up that hill for some reason. I think I'm just too excited about this shoe. The midsole just feels really good underfoot. It's really soft. You can feel kind of that squishiness, it absorbing your foot strike, your impact on the ground. But then it also has this bouncy kind of return which is a really fun sensation. The 33 millimeters of heel stack seems to be pretty adequate for even the longest of runs, making it very suitable for anything from a short trail run to an ultra distance. In fact, I would not hesitate, and I've been thinking about using this shoe for my up and coming 100-mile trail race. That's how good the shoe is. That's how much I've enjoyed this shoe. So I think if you're considering or looking for a good ultra shoe, this is probably one you ought to check out. The other thing that I've really enjoyed about this shoe is that it feels nimble and lightweight underfoot. Now it weighs in at 286 grams, which isn't necessarily the lightest. It's not heavy, but not the lightest shoe, but it feels a lot lighter than it actually is. With the exception of all the mud that got kicked onto the bottom of my shoes earlier, that lightweight feeling of the shoe allows your feet and legs to just keep going. As for the upper, as I mentioned in the comfort, it remains comfortable even on the longest of runs. All the laces and the fabric around the side of your foot, it just comes up around your foot really comfortably. And I don't feel like I have to over tighten the laces to get a secure fit on this shoe. I feel like my feet maintain good blood flow, which again makes me think that this is going to be my 100-mile ultra shoe. And then as far as the fit overall, it fits true to size. There's no need to size up or down, at least not for me. My toes have plenty of room to splay out, and it just feels good on my foot. I don't know what else to say, and I feel like I'm forgetting something. Let me think for a moment. Oh yeah, I knew I was forgetting something. This shoe sheds water amazingly well. I've gotten it completely soaked before, and the water just squeegees or squishes right out of the sides, out of the upper, and it just dissipates the water really well and really quickly. You also have a really nice stable platform from that midsole. Let me see if I can show you. It might be hard to see, but the midsole on the outside here, both medial and lateral side, kind of flares out a little bit, which helps add to a nice stable platform. I've never felt unstable or that I'm gonna roll my ankle or anything like that in this shoe, which again is just really nice and helps the shoe perform overall really well. This is one of those shoes that you can slip your feet in, you immediately feel the comfort, you start running, you immediately feel how fun and soft that midsole is, how inspiring it is. It's agile and nimble when you need it, and it just does a really good job. It's just a lot of fun. Additionally, and the last thing I'll mention, sorry about the wind, is that there's no rock plate in this shoe, but I kind of like that in this case. I get phenomenal ground feel without it feeling harsh. So my feet can really just adapt to the ground, allowing me to feel what's going on underfoot, what I'm placing my foot on, and how to adapt to that to be able to continue running fast and safe. So I think that's all I have for performance. I'm gonna give the performance a 9 out of 10. That's really good. That section was a little muddy. Now on to the value of the shoe. At $150 US MSRP, it is a competitive value, competitively priced, but I do wish that the shoe was just a little bit cheaper, maybe 140. I feel like 150 starts to get up there in price, and that's a lot of hard-earned money to spend on a shoe. However, I think it is money well spent. And I say that because I think this is the shoe that you buy when you're looking for just a solid daily trainer and a shoe that you can do your races in. I think you're getting a shoe that will last a long time, probably 450 to 550 miles. So I'm gonna put the value at an 8 out of 10. Let me know what you think though. Is $150 too much? Am I off my rocker? Or does that seem fair and a price that you would consider paying for this shoe? So again, let me know what you think of this shoe. Drop a comment down below. And if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing, especially if you've already made it this far into the video. We're gonna wrap up the review at this point, but the video is not over yet. I'm gonna show you just a little bit more of this trail and the area that I'm running in today. But if you wanna drop off and go on to the next video because your attention span is too short, then that's fine. No hard feelings. So just in case I don't see you again, remember to be consistent, express gratitude, and enjoy every mile. I will see you on the next video, and we're not ending the video there. Okay, now, where did I run today? At this point in the run, I am about 3.5 miles into it, at least coming from the car. Of course, I've done a little bit more today. So we've come down, we ran down through this valley, and then we followed these power lines down to the edge of the mountain there that you can barely see through the fog. And then we ended up running up and around through these foothills, these hills here. Just a gorgeous area. You can't even see the tops of them right now because of all the low-hanging clouds and fog. So then we ended up dropping down through, and maybe you can see the trail straight through there, but we ended up dropping down and then cutting back through the valley here and up on this trail here. This is, well, in part, if you're familiar with the area, this is the Loveland, Fort Collins area of Colorado. And the trail that cuts through this valley is the Blue Sky Trail. Nora Runners does a Blue Sky half marathon and marathon trail race, which is pretty awesome. That it's right here on this trail in my own backyard, more or less. So now that we've come down through here, we are approaching mile, gotta look at my watch, 7.5. And then this is one of the ridges that you end up coming up and over. We'll get to the top here, and it's always really pretty views to come up right to this ridge, and then that's what you get to see. And then at this point this is the Rimrock Trail. You have two options. This is the direction that we came from. It's a little shorter, but a little more technical in some respects. Or we can go up on this direction, and it loops up and around and then down the other side and connects back in on the other side. So we came up this way. So I think what we're gonna do is go around the other way and make our way slowly back to the car. So we are, as I said, 7.5 miles into the run and about 3.5 miles away from the car. You know, I run out here quite a bit, but it never ever gets old. I enjoy it so much, and then it always changes with the different weather, the clouds or snow or springtime, the fall time. The area just changes with the seasons, and it's always so pretty to see. Now this part of the trail is a lot of fun as well because you're running along this hillside, and as you approach or come around the bend here, you're welcome to the second little opening, or this valley area. And then you can see, and you can barely see in the video, but you can see at the top of right there, the second ridge. That ridge is known as Coyote Ridge. So we're gonna make our way through the valley there and up and over to the top of that ridge. And then at that point, you're typically welcome to some pretty awesome views. We'll see what our view is today with the low-hanging clouds and fog, but let's make our way over there. Approaching the top, and looks like there's some deer. Oh, the little guys. Hello. I typically see more deer than humans out here, especially early in the morning. So usually when you come up to the top of this ridge, you're approached with amazing views, but today with the fog, although it's still pretty, you don't see all those amazing views. Typically you can see part of the city way out there, the sunrise, a couple lakes way off in the distance, and it's quite pretty. It's also kind of cool because on this ridge you can see both one side of the valley and the foothills and then the mountains, and then of course you can see the other side as well. And so it's just kind of cool to run along the top of this and have that perspective of looking across both sides of the ridge. And I love looking towards the east. Typically, not today so much, but typically you can see just a lot of really pretty mountains, including Long's Peak, which is typically way off in the distance, which is Colorado's northernmost 14,000 foot peak. So this right here is the lookout point, and that means we have about 2 miles left till we get to the car. And not that you can see, but we're gonna be winding down the hill here. There's a little switchback that drops down and then cross down through there and around this little tiny mound hill that you can't really see too well right there. And then a nice long sweeping gravel road down to the car. At this point, it's pretty much all downhill, and you can really pick up the pace as long as you don't sprain an ankle on some of these more technical sections. Again, this shows how good the grip is in this shoe. The rock is wet and I am not slipping at all, or in the least on that section. So good job, Topo. All right, also, I might break this video up into, I'll include this in the review video, of course, but I also am gonna break this video up into its own video and post that on the channel. So if you're watching this and you haven't seen my full review of the Topo Athletic Mountain Racer 3 shoe, definitely go check that out. It's an awesome trail shoe and one that I will likely use in some of my up and coming ultras, possibly my 100-mile ultra coming up later this summer. So stay tuned for that as well. All right, we're making our way down this trail, this technical section, having just a blast, really enjoying every mile, and certainly so grateful to be out here doing this morning. Oh, this is a lot of fun. I'm all smiles. Good morning, bud. Good job. All right, so we just came down from the top of that back there. And we're gonna come around this bend, and then we'll have just about a mile left. All right, the car, clear down there. Oh no, the gate's closed. That wasn't like that this morning, probably because of all the moisture and the trail's starting to get a little sloppy and a little muddy. All right, there is the car, the Fusion aid station as I call it, and that is the end of this run. A lot of fun. Thanks for joining me, and look forward to more videos, quite a few more videos. I've got a lot more shoe and gear reviews coming your way, as well as some epic run ventures and a couple ultras. I just signed up for the North Fork 50, which is down in Colorado Springs area. 50-mile trail race should be a blast. And then clean the lens here. And then of course my 100-miler, the UTE or Ute 100 down in southern-ish Utah, down in Moab area. Should be also a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. All right, I better get back in the car, get home, and go see the family. Thanks again for being here. I'll see you on the next video. Bye. Always got to come back for the camera.